So we now have the foundation for creating tasks. We have this dummy task here, but now we're ready to create actual tasks. But before that, I want to point out an important thing before going any further. So sometimes we might need to run our task differently depending on whether we are in a production environment or a development environment. So for example, let's say we are having a task that will compile Sass to CSS and minify the CSS. So that would be great for production, for the end user to have the CSS minified. But during development, it's unnecessary to have the minified CSS. The process might actually take time and processing power, and we don't need to have it during development. So we need to have a way to, like a flag to tell whether we want to run a task for development or for production. And to do that, we'll use a package called yargs. And it's an NPM package. It allows us to add some arguments in the command line when we run a task, and then we can use these arguments in the Gulp file. So let's see exactly what that means. So let's install it. I'm gonna change to my theme folder. Make sure you always do that. And then we want to save dev. I will tell you later what's the save only, the difference between save and save dev, but we want to save dev for this one. And I is also an alias for install. So it's now installed. So let's see how to use it. So let's go to the Gulp file now, and let's remove the old code here. And let's import yargs from yargs. And then I'm gonna create a new constant, and the constant keyword is a new keyword in JavaScript. And let's call it production. And let's assign it to yargs.argv.prod. And in our hello task here, we will console log the production instead of the random text. Let's now run gulp hello, and we have undefined here. Now let's run gulp hello, and then prod equals some text, and then we have some text here. So that's great. So now we can set a variable in the command line and use it in the Gulp file. So what we can do is that when we run a task, we can pass the prod flag, and that will be true, or just not pass it, and it will be undefined, which is false. So that's how we will determine whether we are running the task for production or for development. So I think now we are ready to create our actual tasks, but before that, let's create a new folder here, and let's call it source or src, and then let's create a folder called assets. Oh, that's a file, sorry. And inside assets, we will create images and JS and Sass or SCSS. So in the source folder, we'll have the Sass files and the JavaScript files written in the new syntax, and the images. And then we will create tasks that will take the Sass files and the JavaScript files and the images, and compile them, minify them, do whatever we want, and then put them inside another folder. And we'll see how to do that in the next lecture.